A baby crying for food is not selfishness. It is its need. It cannot provide for itself.
Yeah, your need. That's selfishness.
Wait a minute.
That's selfishness.
If a baby cannot provide for itself, by the way, do you have children?
No.
No wonder. No wonder you're saying such things. Because if you had your own child and you called your baby for crying that that baby is selfish, your wife would probably slap you one. I'm not kidding. And this is what it is. You know, for you to understand a baby cannot provide for itself, and that one of the signs for the baby that it's hungry because it cannot even talk. It cries because it's showing the parents that it needs something.
But you cannot claim it's sinless. You cannot claim it's sinless.
By the way, you said Jesus did not cry.
Only not.
Did Jesus? Wait. Did Jesus? Let me ask you this: did Jesus soil himself when he was a baby?
Bible doesn't tell us.
But he says, but according to his fully,
Depends what you mean.
He's fully human, right?
What you mean by that?
You said he's fully human, right? What does it mean?
He certainly needs.
So he did not cry. He did not soil himself. Did he actually eat?
What does that mean?
Did he eat food?
He defecated. He defecated. Well, that's not the.
Oh, that's I was trying to be polite.
It's not quite the same thing.
I was trying to be polite.
No, because soil yourself is not quite the same thing.
Really? Tell me the difference.
The toilet. That's not soiling yourself.
Hold on.
That's not soiling yourself.
I didn't say. I don't see. I don't see.
Go to the toilet by themselves.
Yeah, exactly. When he says soil yourself.
What church do you go to? What church do you go to?
Or which nursery does he go to? Forget the church.
What church you go to.
No, honestly, Douglas, certain things you say, you really have to think about before you say. Because it doesn't, you don't look, I mean, it doesn't look like you're talking from common sense. You're talking from emotion then. Honestly, you are. Just in order to defend Jesus, you would do anything, you would deny anything.
I haven't denied anything.
Okay, so for you to say that he did not cry, just because it's not in the Bible?
I didn't say he didn't cry. I said we don't know. I said we don't know if he cried or not.
Okay, we don't know that he said he's God either. Did he ever say he's God?
Not in that many. He didn't speak English. He didn't speak
Okay,
English.
tell me in Hebrew what he said.
He didn't say I am God.
Or in Aramaic.
Words. He didn't say I am God.
So why do you say that he's God, even though he did not say? You see what you're doing there? One thing which is not in the Bible, like for example, he did not cry. You're saying he did not. It's possible that he did not cry.
He claimed a title that the Jews would have understood as a divine title.
Which is?
Son of Man.
Son of Man. Was Daniel called the Son of Man?
Yes. Daniel.
The book of Daniel?
Yeah, that's in the book of Daniel.
Okay, did the Jews believe that Daniel was a God?
No.
Then why would you say that he said the title, which the Jews will understand him to mean that he's God? Seriously?
Daniel didn't have the title Son of Man.
Maybe you should read the book of Daniel.
It's in the book, yeah, I have read it. Daniel didn't have that title.
You should read it again.
Daniel 7, it's a divine being that has that title.
And which divine being is that?
The one that sits at the right hand of the Father.
Which is?
The second person of the Trinity, Jesus.
Okay. So saying, by the way, which man was he the son of?
It's a title.
Yeah, exactly. A title has to have a meaning, right? When I say I'm a director of a company, it means something. So when you say Son of Man, what do you understand by it?
The Jews understood it as a divine title.
Did the Jews?
The Jews convicted Jesus of blasphemy because he's claimed it for himself, and they crucified him for it.
Actually, I agree with that. In John 10:30, when he says, "I and the Father are one,"
I wasn't talking about John 10:30.
No, but that's what I'm saying. That is where they claim blasphemy with regards to Jesus.
No, I'm talking about Matthew 26.
Matthew 26. Okay, what did he say? What did Jesus say?
At his trial,
yeah,
he claimed the title Son of Man for himself. Shall I read it?
Read it, go on, and make sure you read John 10:30 after that.
Why? You brought that up.
No, because
you brought that up. I didn't bring that up.
The reason I brought it up is because of the claim that the Jews made with regards to Jesus, that he being a mere man is claiming that he and the Father are one. And they said you're blaspheming. It's very clear in John 10:30. But then in John 10:34, when he says that he is just claiming to be the Son of God.
Just because an example of Jesus saying something is not him claiming to be, it's not an example of him claiming a divine title, and you bring that up, doesn't mean that some other example that I brought up
what I really wanted to see,
claiming a divine title, which proves he's God.
Douglas, what I really wanted to see is Jesus claiming that he's God, unambiguously, clear-cut, like it is in the Old Testament, when Yahweh said there is no God besides him. Yes, this is called clear-cut.
Who are you to make demands of God?
I'm not demanding. I'm saying if Jesus is indeed God, then he should have made it clear.
Why? You're demanding of God.
Okay, so
who are you to do that?
Okay, so when Jesus clearly said that he's God, do you deny that?
I'm not sure it's clear, but
it's very clear. I go to my God, and your God. What does my God mean?
His relationship with the Father is different to Mary's relationship with the Father.
He already mentioned I go to my Father before that. So he says, I go to my Father.
His relationship, yeah, well, God in that sense means the Father.
Douglas,
his relationship to the Father.
Douglas, listen to the verse first. It's in John 20, verse 17. He says, I go to my Father. I've not yet ascended. Yes? Now go to my brethren, tell them I go to my Father and your Father. So he already made the relationship between him and the Father clear. That is his Father and the Father of those brethren of his, the people of the Jewish people. So wait, let me finish. And the next statement he makes is very clear as well. I go to my God and your God. So his God and the God of Mary Magdalene and the God of his brothers, the believers, is the same. When he says my God, what do you understand by it?
So I brought up this verse. This verse shows that he's God.
That's fine, read it.
You brought up other verses.
No, I'm telling you
which
all
don't show that he's God. That doesn't prove he's not God.
I'm telling you the explicit verses which you're denying for some reason.
I'm not denying that.
Most Christians, what they do is
Sorry, I brought up this verse.
Most Christians I spoke to you.
You talked about other verses. Right, this verse shows that he's God.
No, it doesn't.
This verse clearly
It doesn't.
shows that he's God.
When it's clear, then it should be something similar to
They
what he says in the Old
for
Testament.
it. They crucified him.
Really?
It was so clear.
By the way, who
to the
crucified
Jewish.
him?
It was so clear.
Hold on, who crucified him?
The Romans crucified him.
Did the Romans say we crucified him for blasphemy?
The Romans crucified him because the chief priests asked him to, because he committed blasphemy.
No, it wasn't for blasphemy. Maybe you should go and read the history of Jesus Christ being
I agree it
crucified.
wasn't blasphemy.
So why are you claiming it is?
It's a non-God claiming to be God. Jesus was God claiming to be God, so it wasn't blasphemy.
You know, the Romans didn't care whether they blasphemed or not. The Romans, the last thing,
They wanted to keep the
they
Jews
wanted to
quiet.
make sure that
The
someone
Jewish
who's,
leaders quiet.
you know what is the main reason they actually gave? Is he's claiming to be the king, or rather the people are assuming that he's claiming to be the king of the Jews. That becomes political now. So it is a political reasoning that the Romans gave for crucifying him.
They wanted to keep the Jews
Nothing
quiet.
to do with blasphemy.
So they wanted to keep the Jews quiet, but the reason the Jews wanted him dead was because in their eyes he committed blasphemy.
Okay, now get it back to when Jesus said, my God, what do you understand by that?
No, I haven't read this verse
That's
yet.
fine, go on, finish
I haven't
it.
read this verse yet.
That's fine, go on.
And the high priest said to him, I have charged you under oath by the living God. Tell us if you are the Christ, the Son of God. And this is Jesus speaking. Yes, it is, as you say, Jesus replied. But I say to all of you, in the future you will see the Son of Man sitting at the right hand of Mighty One, coming on the clouds of heaven. Then the high priest tore his clothes and said, he has spoken blasphemy. Why do we need any more witnesses?
Okay. So when he says right hand of the Mighty One, who is the Mighty One?
The Ancient of Days.
Now who is the Mighty One?
In the passage of Daniel.
In that passage, who is the Mighty One?
The Ancient of Days.
No, I'm not asking you when, I'm asking you who. Listen to the question again.
That's the title he's given in the Daniel passage, the Ancient of Days.
Listen, once again, who is the Mighty One? On the right hand side of the Mighty One.
In that passage in Daniel, that person is has the title the Ancient of Days.
I didn't ask you the title. I asked you who it is.
Who else? Yeah, the Ancient of Days.
Why don't you say it's God?
He's one member of the Trinity.
Okay, can anyone...
Because if you read that passage in Daniel,
Douglas, calm down. No need to
the
shout.
Son of Man
Calm down,
has a
calm down.
greater claim of deity than the Ancient of Days.
Okay.
If you read that passage in Daniel,
That's fine. But you still haven't answered my question. Who is this Mighty One in the Ancient of Days?
the Ancient of Days.
Yeah, who was that?
The first person of the Trinity.
And who is that?
The Father.
Finally! if only you said that earlier. Okay, so is the Mighty
Sorry,
One...
that's my interpretation.
Wait.
It's my interpretation is the Father. The passage says the Ancient of Days.
That's fine. So is my interpretation the Father. Okay, so we are in sync now. You believe that's the Father, I believe that's the Father. Good?
Right,
Okay,
yes.
now let's move on. Why is the Mighty One not Jesus? Why is it the Father?
So, we need to look at the passage.
Go on, look at it. And this is what I asked with regards to Jesus. Where did he say that he's God? You see, Jesus himself is saying someone else is the Mighty One.
He claimed a divine title, the Son of Man. In that passage, it's clear the Son of Man
We're not worried about
has a greater
titles.
claim of deity
We're not worried about
than the
titles.
Ancient of
Look,
Days.
we're not worried about the titles. We are worried about who actually...
The Jews understand that title as being a divine title. That's why they accused him of blasphemy for claiming it.
You know what? The Jews, just because they claim that's blasphemy, doesn't make it right.
No, they were wrong.
Exactly.
Because blasphemy is
So
a
why bring up
non-God.
something that is wrong?
Blasphemy is a non-God claiming to be God. Jesus was God claiming to be God. So in his case, it was a blasphemy.
So why can't you show me an explicit verse where he says I'm not talking, look, in this very verse which you assume was explicit, he's saying that there is another one who's mightier than him, i.e. the Father. Can God have anyone higher than him? In mightiness.
In a Trinitarian God, one member of that Trinity might say that another member was great, more powerful than that.
So they're not co-equal then? Thank you.
No, it doesn't imply they're not
Wait,
correct.
well, you just said one is higher.
I said one member of the Trinity might say, another member.
Not might say. You already said it.
Okay, in Jesus' case, he did say it, but
Okay.
it doesn't mean it's true.
Can anyone be higher than
giving
God?
reference. It might just be like
Douglas,
giving reference.
can anyone be mightier than God?
In my simplistic understanding, no.
Good. Is there anyone mightier than Jesus Christ?
I would say the three members of the Trinity are equal. But while Jesus was limited to a man's
Are
body,
you going to answer the question?
Father was mightier than
Hold
he.
on. Are you going to answer the
While
question?
Jesus was limited to a man's body,
Don't you just
then the
shout. I
Father
can hear
was
you.
mightier than he.
Douglas, I can hear you. Yeah. Is there anyone mightier than Jesus Christ?
While Jesus was limited to a man's body, the Father was mightier than he.
When you say limited,
He chose it to limit himself.
okay. So you're telling,
He chose to
so
limit
you're saying
himself
Jesus
to
was
a man's
limited.
body.
He's not 100% God.
He chose to limit himself.
No. When
to a
you say
man's
something
body.
is limited, for me, 100% is all fully God. Is Jesus fully God?
No,
Guys, why are you disturbing him? The fact that he's thinking is a good sign. All right, so let him think and then say. That's fine. Please do not disturb, guys. Okay, let him think for himself. I think he's quite capable of that.
The Quran gives you a false view of God.
Don't
Because
go
if
to
you
Quran.
have
I'm talking about the Bible.
Quranic view of God. The answer to that question is
I didn't
no.
ask you to answer based on the
That's
Quranic
because
view.
the Quranic view of God is wrong.
Did I ask you to answer
I
based on
would
the
say
Quranic view?
that just because Jesus has limited himself to a man's body doesn't stop him being fully God.
Hold on. You're the one who's saying it's limited, not me. Now the question to
He
you
chose
is,
to limit himself.
look, whether he chose
to
that's
limit
fine.
himself.
Whether he chose or not, when you say limited, it does not mean fully God. Do you agree?
No. As I said
So
earlier,
it's fully God
a
then?
Quranic view of God, if you have a Quranic view
Why
of
going
God,
to Quranic
then the
view?
answer to that question is
Okay,
yes.
good.
I don't have a Quranic view of God.
Did I ask you to answer based on the Quranic view? I'm asking you the
I
question.
think it's relevant to my answer. That's why I brought it up.
Okay, so
Right.
so what does limited mean to you? I know what fully God means. You tell me what limited God means.
But you know what fully God is because you believe the Quranic view of God,
Of
and I
course.
think that's a false view of God.
Also,
right?
God is not fully God.
The Quranic view of God is wrong. That's my point.
How is it
The
wrong?
view of God
How is God being
It
fully
teaches
God
you
wrong?
fully God- it's-
How is God
the
being
Quranic
fully
view
God
of
wrong?
God is wrong because it teaches you a false nature of what God is like.
Which is what? Give me one thing that is false in the Quran about the nature of God.
You claim that Allah is almighty or powerful or glorious. Or,
And that is not God? Seriously?
but the problem with that is it has inbuilt limitations.
How?
It can't,
You're the one who's saying limited.
It would not befit his glory to come to earth.
No, wait,
It
wait,
would
wait.
not befit
Is
his
that-
glory to
is that
come
his
to
glory
That
or
is an inbuilt limitation.
Hold on.
An inbuilt limitation.
Okay, I'll tell you what.
Well, a Trinitarian
Maybe
God
you understand-
does not have these inbuilt limitations.
Okay, when you say
Because
inbuilt
one member of the
limitations-
Trinity can come to earth.
Douglas,
while the Father
Douglas.
is still in heaven, running the universe
Douglas.
and still being all powerful.
Calm down. When you say inbuilt limitation, coming to earth, is that his glory or his limitation?
Sorry.
Coming to earth, becoming a man, becoming weak, dying by his own creation, is that his limitation or his
His
glory?
glory was veiled. His
Okay,
glory was
so
veiled
wait,
while he was a man.
would you say that is his limitation or is that his mightiness? The fact that he died by his own creation, is that his limitation or is that his mightiness?
Repeat the question.
It's a very simple question. When I say
Sorry,
God is
I need to
almighty,
think on
listen,
it. Sorry, I need to
listen,
concentrate
Douglas,
on
yeah,
that.
you need
I
to
need to
really
concentrate
concentrate and focus on, so I'll repeat the question once again.
please.
When I say almighty God, I mean all-powerful God, someone who is basically capable of things which the creation is not. For example, he knows everything, the creation doesn't know everything. The fact that he doesn't die and the creation dies is another of his mightiness, which the creation doesn't have. Wait, I haven't finished. You need to understand from where I'm coming from.
I don't
So
accept
when you
die.
say,
I don't think die is a relevant point here.
really? Why not? Did God not say that he's immortal?
Because we think of die as being an end.
No, that is called
we
cease to
think of
exist.
death as being an end. Well, death is
When
a
did I
transition.
say- when did I say death means-
But that's what people think. It's natural to think of death.
Why
as
don't
an
you
end.
ask me what
But
it
is that
means?
a correct understanding of
Instead
death?
of you
death
assuming,
is a transition.
Listen, instead of you assuming what I mean by death, why don't you ask me?
What do you mean by death?
Death doesn't mean cease to exist. Death means separation of the body and the soul. Okay, do you agree?
But
Good.
people.
Wait, Douglas, do you agree with that definition?
Yes, I agree with that
Good.
definition.
So do not ever say, but death I mean cease to exist.
No, my point was that when you say death, people think ceasing an end.
No, I think most people here know what that means.
But it means a transition.
Okay, most people know what that means. Immortal means someone who does not die. Do you agree with that definition? Or are you going to redefine that?
When I looked up the word immortal in the dictionary, it didn't quite mean the same as what you mentioned.
What did the dictionary say about the word
It was a
immortal?
long time ago, I can't remember.
Shall I point it out to you if you want? Death means someone who does not die,
Sorry.
someone who's not subject to death.
That was one of the definitions. It has other meanings too.
Okay,
it has other meanings too. That's not the only definition of the word.
I know there are other meanings, but that is metaphorically speaking. For example, no, that's fine. There are other meanings. For example, someone who paints a picture. Yes?
Immortal.
Yes, they have immortalized the person in the picture.
Okay, right,
that is a way of saying in English.
Yes, okay.
Now this is metaphorically speaking. But literally when you talk about death, listen. Literally when you talk about death, yes, it doesn't mean you cease to exist. It means you stop breathing. It means your body and your soul have now separated. That is what death generally means.
Fishes don't breathe and they can die, so I don't think.
I'm not talking about fishes, I'm talking about human beings. Okay, so
What's the main point?
the main point here is that Jesus cannot be God because he died.
But can God lay aside his majesty and take on a human form and come to earth? Can
Okay.
God do that?
If God does that, will he still remain God?
Absolutely. In the Christian concept, yes. Absolutely.
No, when you say Christian concept, according to the Bible, God said that he's immortal.
Yes.
What do you understand by that?
He's all powerful, he's mighty, he's almighty, he can do anything he wants to do.
You know, you said everything except he's not subject to death.
But if God laid aside,
No. Listen, what does the word immortal mean? Let's take this step at a time.
you tell.
Okay, for me, it means someone who does not die. Someone who is not subject to death. Do you agree with that?
yes,
Did Jesus die?
he died on the cross, yes.
Was he subject to death?
Yes,
Was he mortal?
yes.
Thank you, I rest my case.
But in a sense though, but when the Bible describes God, what Christ did on the earth, he laid aside his majesty, he took on a form of a human body.
Yeah.
In his humanity he died, but he had divine attributes as well. So the Bible says...
Wait, when you say in his humanity he died, so who died for you, the flesh or the second person of the Trinity?
So this is
Who died for you?
Jesus Christ died on the cross.
No, when you say Jesus Christ, okay, because he did have flesh.
In his humanity, he
When you
died,
say
yes.
in his humanity, you mean his
he
flesh,
died,
right?
yeah.
Okay, is the flesh part of Jesus Christ? Part of the Trinity?
Yes.
Think about it before you answer. It's a very crucial question. When you say the flesh died, is the flesh part of the Trinity?
When Jesus Christ took on human flesh,
Yes.
2015 years ago,
Yeah.
yes. When
Okay.
Christ died on the cross,
So the flesh
he died
is
as humanity.
part of the Trinity.
When Christ took on human form,
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The flesh part
Fully
of...
God,
okay,
fully human,
that's
yeah.
fine. When you say fully God, yes, to me fully God means the full attributes of God.
yeah.
When you say put aside, means the full attributes of God are not present. Do you agree with that?
The way the Bible describes what Christ did when he came to earth,
Yeah.
he laid aside certain things about what he could do.
No,
So for
but
instance,
did you understand the question I asked you?
I understand the question,
Okay, the
yeah.
question is, the full attributes of God, if they are not present, can you still call him fully God?
It's not that it's not.
Richard, you can come in, no problem. That's fine. I don't mind.
my friend.
I don't mind the three against one. All right.
Conversation.
He's my friend as well.
Oh, good.
I know him. That's why I call his name. All right. So once again, the question is this: when you say the full attributes of God, to me that is fully God. When you say something, for example, one of the attributes of God is his immortality. Yes. Another attribute is his omniscience, that is all-knowing. Did Jesus possess any of these two attributes?
It is all-knowing
And immortality.
So I have to back up one step.
That's fine.
Before I can go to
That's
that
fine,
one.
no problem, go on.
When Jesus Christ came to earth, he took on human flesh.
Yes.
He put aside certain things. That's why when Christ prayed to the Father, there's a reason for that. He laid aside certain attributes from himself. He relied on the Father. He prayed to the Father. I believe Jesus Christ is fully God. But the way the Bible presents Jesus Christ is that he came to earth, he laid aside some of his attributes.
How can you
Lay aside,
Yes.
do you mean not exercise or do you mean lose? What do you mean?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah.
Say that again?
When you say lay
Enough of me.
aside, I agree with your language, lay aside, but what do you mean by that? Do you
Douglas,
mean to
just-
temporarily lose
let-
it,
let
even if
Richard
you
get
pick it up
some.
again later, or do you mean to have it but not to exercise?
Sure. So that's a good question. I think the second one.
Yeah.
I think the second one.
So what is it?
He
Which one of that?
He chose to not exercise certain his attributes.
Okay, so when Jesus was asked about the last hour, did he say, I cannot tell you the last hour? Or did he say he did not know the last hour? There's a big difference between the two, you
He
know?
said the Father knows the hour,
No, he says nobody knows the hour,
but the Father,
not the angels in heaven,
except the Father.
not the Son. So when he says not the Son, he's explicitly telling you he doesn't know the hour. Do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, there's a big difference between saying I don't know the hour and saying I cannot tell you the hour now. Do you see what I mean? So this is what he meant by exercising this knowledge. So if he was all-knowing, then he would be lying by saying that I don't know the hour. Unless he really did not know the hour. And when he says only the Father, yes, does that include the Son?
Just only the Father.
Does that include the Holy Spirit?
We have to go back and forth on that one.
I know, but does it include the Holy Spirit?
Not in that context.
You
no.
see how quickly you answered about the Son? Why can't you be sincere and clear in your response
The thing
with
is-
regards to when look?
Yeah. I'll let
Only the Father is very clear. Okay? If I say a particular when you go to the bathroom or the toilet, it's clearly marked